Hi class, this is the lesson for the video for lesson 74. Such a silly, easy lesson that I thought I'd throw in a few review problems because the lesson itself is super easy, super short, and I don't think you'll have another lesson in math that will have such easy practice problems. So let me just go over a couple of review problems. Stick with me on these. I want to make sure you guys understand these. All right, so the first problem I want to review is taking a radical or taking a root of a fraction. So in my example, we're looking for the third root of 125 over 8. What does that mean? It means what fraction multiplied by itself 3 times gives me 125 over 8. In fraction multiplication, we multiply the numerators to get our numerator and our answer. And then we multiply the denominators to get our answer and our denominator. So this really, what it really actually amounts to, I hate that, is the cube root of 125 over the cube root of 8. We've already done these problems. If you know the cube root of 125, if you recall, that's 5. This asks me what number multiplied by itself 3 times gives me 125. And that's 5. All right? 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. And then we just carry out the same, same approach with our new denominator. What number multiplied by itself 3 times gives me 8. I hope you have this memorized by now. That's 2. So my answer is 5 halves. What is the cube root of 125 over 8? It's 5 halves. It's the cube root of my numerator over the cube root of my denominator, and that's 5 halves. Don't get intimidated by these root of a fraction problems, all right? The second problem I want to review, because I saw one coming up here in today's lesson, maybe tomorrow, I don't recall, very similar to this shape here that I have on the right, and they're asking you the perimeter and the square area of this shape. So I want to review this. Let's start with the perimeter. Also, before I start, I want to put down my formulas for circles because those will come into play because I have a semicircle there. So the area for a circle is pi r squared, and the circumference of a circle, again, is pi d, pi times the diameter. All right, perimeter. So let's see. We have this length. We have this length. We need this length. That is half the circumference of a full circle. That is half the circumference of this circle. So how do we find the circumference and then just cut it in half? Well, we take pi times the diameter. If the radius here is 8, then the diameter is twice that, right? And that's 16. And then we'll have 3.14 times 16. Let's see if I calculated this. Sorry, I thought I did. Did I do that right? Yep. And that's 4, 2, 6, 7, 8, 18, and then 4, 1, 3. Let's add that up. 4, 2, 1. And we have 2 decimal places, so I need 1, 2 in my answer. Okay. So the circumference of the full circle is 50.24. Actually, I want to divide that in half. And it's just 25.12, half of that. This is actually, so this is the distance of this arc here. We call that an arc. Any portion of the perimeter of a circle is called an arc. All right, so let's erase this. So we have that distance. Now that I have that distance, this is a simple matter. All right, let's add them up. 29.7, 25, 25.12. Line up that decimal. Put in filler zeros if you like. It's 19, carry the 1, that's 7. And let's say that my units are in centimeters. So my perimeter of the shape is 79 and 82 hundredths centimeters. All right, that's the perimeter of that shape. The key then with this is remembering how to find the distance along this arc, and that's just taking the circumference of the whole circle, if you were to sketch it in, and then cutting it in half. All right, let's find the volume. Not volume, sorry. This is square area. Let's find the square area of that shape. All right, so to find the square area, we have to divide this figure into two parts, into the triangular part here and into the semicircle there. Then we find the square area of each part and add them up. Let's look at our triangle first, area 1. So the formula for the area of a circle, of a triangle, is 1/2 base times height. That is 1/2. My base is 25. Now my height, if this radius is 8, then this is 8, and this is 8, and this is 8, and this is 8. That means this is 8. That's how we find out the length of our height. 8 plus 8 is 16. I can multiply in any order. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to multiply the 1/2 and the 16 first because that's easy. That's 8 times 25, and that's 200. So the area of that semicircle, the triangle, this is area 1. The square area of my triangular part of that figure is 200, and we're calling it centimeters squared. That's area 1. Area 2. Now we have to find the square area of the semicircle. So the area for the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. That's pi times our radius 8 squared. That's pi times 64. Now we need half of that. I'm going to take half of this right now. We don't want, this would be, pi times 64 would be the area of the full circle, but I only need half, so I'll go ahead and divide this in half. I'll do some canceling. Cancel those 2's. So I just have to find out what pi times 32 is to find out the square area of my semicircle. I did multiply that out already. I did multiply out 3.14 times 32, and that is 148 hundredths centimeters squared. Okay, that's area 2. Last step, add up area 1 and 2. If you just look at them, 200 plus 148 hundredths, that's just 348 hundredths centimeters squared. Don't get too wigged out when you see this shape. It's not hard. Remember your formulas for circle. Apply them to the semicircle, for circumference, and for area. Okay, and you'll be fine. All right, let's see. I'm going to clear this canvas here. Let's talk about lesson 74. In lesson 74, they're teaching you a simple concept. They're teaching you that 5 minus 3, for example, is the same as 5 plus a negative 3. The title of this lesson is Parentheses in Addition and Order of Addition. So if you recall our number line, when they were teaching you how to do signed addition, they would say, start at your origin. I don't want to take too much of your time here. I'm going to sketch this quickly. I won't label them all. It's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would go in the positive direction to 5, looking here, looking at this, and then I would go in the negative direction 3, and that would bring me to 2. So my answer is 2. So they're trying to help you keep that in mind and also understand that 5 minus 3 is the same as being at 5 and adding a negative 3. You're still going to head in the direction 3 units, all right, on your number line. So let's make a longer problem. Let me write the problem. 13 minus 2 minus 7 plus 5 plus 12 minus 4. All right, except for our 13, I'm going to add a little plus sign in front of it. If you take each of these numbers with the arithmetic symbol directly in front of it, okay, and kind of box them all separately with the sign that's directly in front of it, you can take each of these numbers and separate them out. Add parentheses. Probably the first one is optional, but we know we're starting with a positive 13. I can add parentheses to each of these and make it a signed number, and I can simply add a plus sign in between to show you that that first equation up here is identical to this. When we subtract 2, we add a negative 2, okay? Or when we add 5, we add a positive 5. And that's all your practice is going to expect of you. They're going to give you a long equation, and they're going to say, add parentheses to it. And all you do is you separate out your number with its sign in front of it, separate them out, put parentheses around them, and then add those all together. And that's it. They're teaching you that this is the same as this, and just to be aware of that. That's it, class. Okay, signing off.